Hi there, Aquarius, and welcome to your shadow reading. Also, happy birthday! All right, so shadow energy is basically when you are exploring, um, I guess I would say, for the sake of this tarot reading, I would say that it's really exploring inner depths into your soul, and that can be emphasized or like labeled as like subconscious work, tapping into your inner consciousness that you can't fully, like, it's not tangible, you can't really grasp it, you can't really hold it. It's something that happens a lot when you're dreaming, I feel anyway. So because of that, I'm going to be using my Tarot of Dreams deck because I think that's like the easiest way to explore shadow energy when you're starting off, is to analyze your dreams and the symbols and meanings behind what you're dreaming about. So I'm going to be using my Tarot of Dreams deck, okay, and we're going to see what is going on, Aquarius, okay? So there's the story spread, okay? And basically this is a 9-card spread, okay? And it really just like tells a story about what you're going through. It's designed especially for the Tarot of Dreams. The story spread encourages you to think of your life and your situation as a story. It also provides a method of investigating and challenging the stories told to us by our conscious minds. Often, our ultimate happiness depends on our willingness to constantly question these egocentric stories and see if they are really true, or if our ego is telling us something that only serves to cause us more stress. And from what I have learned or experienced, or both, you really like can tell that you are tapping into your shadow side when you see a lot of ego centered stories or ego centric types of personalities appear in your dream world, okay? And an egotistical person nowadays is more, I would say, considered like a narcissistic personality. Okay, so for you to be like the observer and to be watching these egocentric energies play out, and your role as an observer watching it play out, um, really tells you about more about yourself really than anyone else. And I also feel like you understand yourself more as you see the different ego centered energies play out around you. Okay, so it's a pretty like long reading, so I will try to make it, I will try to get it down to like, 20 minutes, but if it doesn't happen, then I'll just go into like a part 2, okay, of this. But yeah, so the story basically is a microism of the reading as a whole, okay? The remaining cards are the rest of the story and serve to amplify and expand upon themes found in the first card. So if you're just looking for a microism of information on what you're channeling and what you're experiencing right now, Aquarius, then this first card would be it. And then you can just, pause the video and move through life with that message. You could always come back and read the rest, or not read, listen to the rest. But yeah, so position 1 or card 1 is the story. This card provides an overview of the chapter of the story that you are presently living. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these cards. All right. So let's take a look here at card number 1. Whoa. Okay, 2 cards flew out. So actually, I'm just going to take that as a sign that I'm meant to read 2 cards for you, okay, Aquarius? So up first, I have the Ace of Wands. Okay, this was at the top. And, all right, and underneath that, I have the Lover's card, okay? So let's see what this Ace of Wands is trying to express for you at this time in reference to the chapter of the story that you are presently living. And you are presently living in this Ace of Wands energy, okay? And okay. So let's see here. Okay, so the energy here, the desire to change something in our life or in our environment. Okay, that's a great start to a chapter in your story, okay? A volcano erupts, tinting the sky red. Lava flows towards us across the rocky plain. A lizard perches in the round metal hoop of creation. The lizard is a reminiscent of the salamander, the elemental creature of fire. A crystal-topped wand glows with a yellow light. The wand tells us a story about energy and its utilization. Life in general is about to change, and often when we speak of wisdom, we refer to acceptance of the transitory nature of life. But with wand's energy, we get to turn the tables and affect our own changes on our environment. In the Ace of Wands, we become aware of desire to change something. And the rest of the suit describes our efforts and experiences as we apply energy to make the change. The Ace of Wands may be experienced at differing levels of intensity. Sometimes you may get a small niggling of dissatisfaction and desire to make something in your environment different than it is. At the other end of the spectrum, you may find yourself overwhelmed with the desire to save the world or to run off and join the Foreign Legion. Either way, the ace represents an opportunity to feel the fire running through your veins. Like the lava on the card, when involved in a project or endeavor, success will often depend on your ability to remember this primal feeling that inspired you to begin in the first place. Okay, so it's literally like the start here, okay, of your chapter. And that endeavor to complete something. Now, position 2 is the rest of the story, okay? What you think. This card describes your conscious mind or your ego, what it thinks about the story and what it thinks the story is in the final analysis. All right, so you're already basically getting the end of the chapter. You're already basically getting what your shadow energy is trying to tell you, okay? And I think what it's telling you is to pursue this inner work and getting to a deeper understanding of what your subconscious is trying to tell you, okay? So we have the Lover's card, okay? So the Lovers here, okay, this is Gemini energy, okay? And a relationship of any kind, or specifically a love relationship, sharing one's viewpoint with another, successfully or unsuccessfully, revealing vulnerabilities, a partially revealed mystery, attraction of opposites. All right. And I just finished up your soulmate reading. Okay, Aquarius. So if you're looking for more, and it was a past, present, future soulmate reading. So if you want to go and watch that video first so you understand more of what your partner is channeling versus what you're channeling and compare and contrast the two, definitely highly suggest watching that. Okay. But as for right now, as for like this shadow energy that you are currently seeing in your dreams, Aquarius, okay, Having assembled the building blocks of his personality in the previous cards, the Fool, okay, that's the person who's, just starting off their journey, okay, you know, um, is now ready for the final piece that enables him to interact with others in the Tarot of Dreams. Okay, so that interaction is symbolized by an intimate pair of lovers. Of course, the entire gamut of relationships may be referred to, not just romance. Any situation in which two or more people are dealing with each other can be represented by this card. Okay, Aquarius? Now, I do think that this is in really close, like, relation to the soulmate reading I just did for you. Okay, so a love relationship is used to illustrate this concept because a love affair encompasses all the tendencies and feelings that occur in any human relationship. Okay, but it's heightened in a more dramatic way. Thus, all the small and large kindnesses, sacrifices, petty jealousies, and insecurities that characterize a platonic friendship or business relationship are magnified in a romance. Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you already have found your soulmate, okay, or if you're dating somebody or you're, living with someone, married to someone, whatever your specific, um, you know, situationship is, okay, then you and your person, okay, I do get the sense that you and your person are in a romantic relationship. And what this has to do with your shadow energy is like you're emerging with a broadened consciousness and a deeper, more sophisticated world view, because you're not just seeing the world through your own experiences and past, present, future experiences. You're seeing the world through your soulmate or your lover or whatever. Okay, so on this card we see the eponymous lovers in a scene of physical intimacy. They do not look at each other. Both the women's and the man's eyes are closed. Okay, thus even though they are passed together, there's still a barrier between them. Okay, so no matter how close two people may feel, they still have two separate minds locked away inside two different heads, and thus there will always be a barrier between them, which they can never breach. And that's the thing about what's happening here with your um, connection and your shadow work, because your connection may or may not be getting in the way of your shadow work. Okay, because sometimes you're like sacrificing things, right, for someone else. Okay, so that's when your shadow energy kind of starts to be all like, wait a second, like what, like like that's not the initial response that you get, right, of like giving up something for someone else, right? I mean, it's perfectly natural and normal to do that, but there's another side to you that's like, why are you giving so much, or why are you sacrificing so much, or why does it feel that way? Okay, so the Gemini energy here is a sign of communication between people and understanding the relationship between things. Okay, so obviously Aquarius, you're not a Gemini, but maybe that energy is coming through because you are trying to understand your soulmate's journey, your lover's journey, I don't know, however you want to label them, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and you're seeing how it's sort of affecting your energy. Okay, and comparing the two. Now, position 3, what you get. This describes the physical circumstances in which you will find yourself if your story continues on its present path. So if you continue to explore this connection, okay, Aquarius, which is teaching you more about yourself than you probably even realize, there's going to be some effects from that. And we have the 10 of Wands. Okay, so obviously not ideal. Okay, there is, man hovered over here with a lot of fiery wands, impacting him greatly. Okay, a lot of heavy burden there. A lot. That's 10. 10's a lot. Okay, so yeah, I'm getting the sense that your subconscious, your energies here, shadow energy here, is telling you that this is a lot of pressure. Okay, this connection that you have. If you continue to seek out more information on your person, okay, which I don't know. I don't know how that all ties in here, okay? But we're going to find out. So, 10 of Wands. So, this is an endeavor has progressed to the point where complications, obstacles, and pressures weigh you down. Being a slave to one's ambitions, a project has run its course, and it may be time to progress to something new. Yeah. Okay. And you have a triangle here with the Ace of Wands. Okay, emphasizing the element of fire, and then you have that here as well, right? Okay, so a man kneels head down. He bears on his back the weight of 10 wands in a crisscross pattern. A triangle, the element symbol of fire, casts a yellow light. Okay, so there comes a point in every endeavor or project where it simply collapses under its own weight. The original fire and inspiration that sparked the endeavor are all but extinguished under the weight of the complications, obstacles, and intricacies needed to keep the endeavor going. Basically. Basically. Yeah, I mean, the thing here is to remember is that you probably are going to want you're going to like the whole point of this is like there's a new spark here, a new like start here to something, okay? But in order for you to get to that new start, you have to let go of this connection. So this could be, I feel like this could be somebody that's actually like really like, I don't know. I mean, let me get this next card here. What you feel. Okay, here we go. This card explores the emotional roots and foundations of your present circumstance. This is where you'll find hidden emotional motivations. Okay, so hidden emotional motivations to do this and leave this. We have the 7 of Coins. Okay, so this is tied to your emotional side of yourself that's like hinting towards the separation of this connection. Okay, so yeah, 7 of Coins. I feel like there's like a lot of like missing pieces here though that aren't like adding up or making sense. Okay, 7 of Coins, patience, evaluation, something you have nurtured can now grow on its own. This card is about a virtue of patience, waiting until the right moment before taking action. The woman in the picture has undergone the dynamic and exciting creative processes shown in the previous coin cards. Okay. Yeah, so you're basically harvesting the fruit of your labor, but waiting until the perfect moment of ripeness. Okay, the proper timing can make all the difference in our endeavors. So this card also indicates you have nurtured something and it has now grown to the point where it no longer requires your constant attention. Now you can sit back and watch it grow. Alternatively, the woman could be seen at a crossroads evaluating the situation to determine what her next move will be. Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing is you're at that crossroads because there was that energy where the full energy was coming through and you're like, okay, well now that something's come to like as far as it's going to go, what is the next step in this creative process? Okay, so that brings you to what you deserve. See, I feel like you were doing what your partner or, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, I'll just say partner, okay, for the time being, but you were doing whatever your partner wanted you to do. You were acting the way your partner wanted you to act. You were playing the role of, like, you're not the main character in their story. You're the co-star, but they're the main star. Okay, so now that's all changing and shifting, and you're letting go of that, and now that's where that egotistical energy comes through. That's why you're seeing so many egos playing out in your dreams, because they're all realizing that you are the main character now, like, of your own story. You're getting that, you have that main character energy now. Okay, so that is gonna piss off a lot of egotistical, narcissistic people that you were surrounding yourself with. Okay, and now that's all changing. You're like, oh my god, this is so different and new to me. I never really put myself in that role position before. So now what's the next step? And it's what you deserve. You deserve this. Okay, this card shows what you expect on an emotional level, and that's a key thing to factor in here, is because before, your emotions were not being considered. Before, your emotions weren't even a topic up for discussion. Okay, but now you're making it the discussion, and that's like freaking out a whole bunch of people. And sorry, not sorry. Okay, time to get freaked out. Ooh. Ooh, okay, yep, we got the priestess. What you deserve, the high priestess. Okay, yeah, so I feel like, that's what this is all led up to, is really like, it's your moment, Aquarius. So, embrace that, right? Like, accept that. So we have darkness into darkness, the key to all mystery, and we have the priestess energy. Okay, and the priestess is essentially the energy that can do the inner work and can really learn from all the lessons and all the experiences and all the chapters before, that's leading up to this moment. Okay, so yeah, get the high priestess energy. Okay, priestess. Intuitive insight, reconciling of opposites, an indirect approach, withdrawal from everyday activities. Under a hazy night sky, the priestess sits in her temple, drawing down some mysterious force from the moon. As he watches her, the fool can see the moonlight literally descending upon her, and the stars, suns, and moons nestle in her hair. Her moon-shaped headgear provides a powerful sympathetic magic. We all know that there is more to ourselves than our conscious minds can perceive. When we find ourselves making an unexpected emotional outburst, or when an image that we come across seems to speak to us in startling ways, as tarot cards can do, then we know that there are currents beneath the surface of our conscious minds. But the structure of our minds prevent us from apprehending these currents directly. That's that shadow energy. That's that subconscious energy. How can we ever hope to see what we are incapable of seeing? The answer is the priestess. She allows communication to travel back and forth between the conscious and unconscious worlds, and she maintains the integrity of both worlds by sharply limiting and filtering that communication. This is why the material we receive from our subconscious speaks in riddles, dreams, and metaphors. The two pillars on the card represent duality, as do the different colored spheres atop the pillars. Duality is the way our conscious minds are structured, and how our minds in turn structure our perceptions. From the time we are born, we learn to categorize everything we perceive, good or bad, pleasurable or painful, light or dark. Later in life, the categories grow more sophisticated, but the dualities remain: responsible or carefree, well or ill-intentioned, passive or aggressive. These distinctions make it possible for us to live in and make our way in this world. But they are a hindrance if we want to navigate our way through the subconscious, whose nature reflects the primordial murky waters of oneness, rather than the sharply delineated or delineated, I'm not sure, opposites of everyday waking life. The priestess's eyes are closed, shutting herself off from the sensory input that threatens to seduce her back into the conscious world. She has her back to the pillars, indicating that she has gone beyond the dualities. She has stepped through them as if they were merely a doorway to different kinds of perception. Significantly, she holds her intricate lens so that it frames her heart chakra. The heart chakra reconciles opposites, bringing them together into an organic whole and healing the rift between them. Thus, we experience the priestess's energies as a calming one. The night and the moon on this card symbolize the uncertainty and uneasiness that our conscious minds feel when faced with evidence of the existence of the subconscious. In order to enter the waters of the subconscious, the priestess, or the part of our mind which she represents, must embrace the symbols of night and moon. Then, when she has relaxed and allowed subconscious material to permeate her being, she will turn to us and hold up her magic lens, through which we can catch a few hints of intuitive insight. And there's a Hebrew letter, and it, Gimel, I hope I'm saying that right, means camel. A camel is used to cross desert regions in the same way that the priestess helps us cross the gulf between the conscious and the subconscious. Astrology. The moon is a planet of the subconscious mind. And that is really what brought you here today, Aquarius, is that you wanted to explore the subconscious realms of your inner thoughts, of your dreams, of why you're seeing certain symbols or certain people and what they're doing and how they're acting, which most of it is a lot of egotistical energy, henceforth narcissistic people. But the high priestess can see that, and can avoid hanging out with those types, or, breaking up with someone that is doing that, right? So anyways, and also the Gemini energy, okay, the Lover's card, their eyes are closed because they're showing you cannot be in the mind of the person that you're with, okay, but you can still connect with them, okay, in reference to your soulmate connection from your previous reading, okay. So let's take a look here at the position 6, okay, and this is what you tell. This shows how you present yourself to others and how you express yourself, okay. So what you tell, let's see. Okay. Oh, we got the 5 of Swords. Wow. I'm getting like spiritual warrior. What? Is that your sign, Aquarius? Oh my gosh. I think that's you. 5 of Swords. What you tell, how you express yourself as yourself. Interesting synchronicity there. Or synchronicity, whatever. I don't know what it is, but I've been just, I don't know. Anyways, words are just interesting. Okay, so 5 of Swords, okay. 5 of Swords, let's take a look here. All right. Oh no, what is happening? A humiliating defeat, either of our own or on which we inflict on someone else. The kind of person who must always be right. Oh my God. Because of the ego. Oh my God. A defeat that life or circumstance hands us, which we are helpless against. Oh no. Okay. Well, an apparition appears before us, looming out of the mist, bearing an ombre sword. His expression suggests contempt and mercilessness. Oh, really? Okay. That's not the vibe I was getting, but maybe this is what you've been dreaming of, possibly. In most battles or disagreements, there is a winner and a loser. Here, the sword bearer has won a victory, and the small stricken figure has suffered inexorable defeat. Okay. Yeah, obviously, your haters are gonna hate. Haters are gonna hate. Um, so this card means someone has defeated you, okay, and has taken great pleasure in doing so, or you have defeated someone else, okay. This interpretation is supported by the planetary symbols on the man's fingers, as if the stars themselves has conspired to do us in. In this case, we can do nothing but accept our loss and move on. And this is Venus in Aquarius. Venus shows what we value in Aquarius. We value the cause we are championing with little or no empathy or compassion for the individuals whose lives are affected by our actions. Yeah. You know, that's not great, okay? But position 7, what you are, the parts of yourself that have been determined by the physical circumstances of your upbringing, okay? Um, and we have the King of Swords, okay? So, interesting. I don't know why, but I feel like Aquarius, since you are an Aquarius, I feel like you are you feel like you just what you deserve, but there is that energy where somebody is not making you, like, you're not able to really express yourself in the way you want to, okay. King, or the way you feel you deserve, okay. Yeah, King of Swords, okay. Well, you know that happens sometimes, right? Okay, so King of Swords. Let's see. King of Swords. The King of Swords is himself a symbol of the fully developed mind, unlike the Page, Knight, and Queen. His head needs no hair, wings or feathers, and is instead completely bald so as to allow for maximum mental input and output, illustrated by the complex metallic swirls. Okay. And shapes that surround him. Okay, so this means that a plan or strategy has reached a peak stage of effectiveness and is ready to be put into practice. Okay, kings can be controlling. Again, 2/3 Gemini, 1/3 Taurus. Okay, yeah, again, this is definitely has to do with like your fear of not being yourself and letting other people control the way you think, okay? And like establishing authoritatively state your beliefs and attitudes, okay, rather than simply going with the flow or letting others do your thinking for you, okay? So, yeah, that's the thing, is like you're worried that you're not going to be treated the way you feel you deserve, and therefore that's showing in your dream scenarios. Okay, so when you're dreaming, you're seeing somebody, attack mode, 5 of Swords, okay? They're humiliating you, they're defeating you, they're winning. And the reason that you see this in the dream and surrounding in the dream environment is because this person, um, like, their um, way of like treating someone like you is by is always a competitive energy of like they always need to be wanting up like one upping you, okay. And that's because of the way they were raised, okay, and the way you were raised was to be the one that looks defeated and to be the one that looks like you are letting other people do the thinking for you. You were raised to believe that. That doesn't mean that you actually are that. That doesn't mean you actually do that. Because why else would the priestess energy show up for you and telling you what you deserve? So it's like you almost like for a second, I feel like forgot what you deserve. And then this card just like basically reminded you all over again. Okay? That's why in your dream you are getting egotistical, narcissistic people attacking you and you're feeling defeated because they're entering into your dream realm and they're being freaking weirdos and haters. And the reason why that's happening is because your subconscious is telling you you were raised to believe that egocentrical, narcissistic idiots, okay, let's just say it plainly, are like have like a higher value than you. So they need to take up more room and more space in your life. Well, that's not true, okay? But this is why your dream is happening, to remind you that that is not true. That's why you feel a certain way when you see them in your dream. Is you're like, I don't deserve this. And you don't deserve it, right? You don't deserve to be treated that way, okay? But that is how they're presenting you. That's how they're seeing you. They basically wrote you into their story as the person who is defeated, as the person who needs to be humiliated. They've already written you in their story that way because they're not very good people. But you're being reminded that they're not very good people and why they're not being very good people. Okay? Which is a sucky, shitty situation, but it's still, a situation. So what you need, okay, this card shows what you feel you need to be happy on a physical level. In other words, what level of physical comfort or security you need on what level of risk, okay? No risk, no reward, okay? So, yeah. That's from Traders. That's Alan Cummings from Traders. Okay. So, we have the Six of Wands. We have victory here. Okay. So, what you need is a victory. Okay. And I would say that definitely corresponds very well here because you're obviously dealing with someone who is raised to believe that they need to defeat you at all costs, at all odds. That the way they are presenting you to the world, the way they've written you into their story, is a victim. But you're a victim of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like that makes no sense, but okay. Right. So victory. In order for victory, you might need to go to war. You might need to play the game a little bit here. Okay, there's a little bit of competition energy in the air. Okay, so yeah, so your Six of Wands is the victory card. Okay, and upon attaining long sought goals, we feel a heady rush of pleasure and confidence as we receive the universe's bounty. And that's confidence comes from Leo, which is strength, and the universe's bounty, Jupiter. Okay, so a battle leader approaches appears on a balcony, proclaiming its victory. 5 wands are being held up below him in abstinence. The 6 held as a scepter by the leader is the only one topped by a glowing crystal. On his breastplate are dragons, an element symbol of fire. The dragon motif is repeated on the banners hanging over the balcony's edge. This is a straightforward and simple card. It means victory. Victory itself, however, is far from straightforward and simple. The man has won his battle, but notice how his face, set in lines of determination, already shows some signs of hardness, which makes us wonder how long it will be before he starts exhibiting some of more negative sides of the emperor. Okay, so, all right, yeah. So basically, what this is saying is that your confidence is here, your strength is here, and you are victorious regardless of this egotistical energy. And it's just saying, like, the Emperor energy, which if in a shadow reverse type of way appears, um, it's indicating that like there are certain people in a position of power and influence that do choose a darker side. They do choose to operate in a more egotistical, centric, or center-based side. Okay. But it's like your awareness of this and your understanding of this, it pretty much helps you, to see that that's not how you want to live your life and that's not how you want to be represented. So you definitely need a victory here. You definitely need a win here because you are dealing with a lot of people who haven't really celebrated you, Aquarius, and haven't really given you the recognition that you so much deserve, which is what the High Priestess is telling you. Now, what you expect, okay, this shows your conscious mind or ego expects for the future, okay? So, oh, okay. Let's see. We have the Chariot, okay? So, this is what you expect, what your conscious mind or your ego expects, okay? So, let's see. The Chariot. So the Chariot is a confident approach to life. Willpower, a youthful, inexperienced energy, pride and arrogance, anger caused by insecurity. Now, that doesn't mean that you yourself expect, this prideful, arrogant energy. There is a good way to have pride in yourself, and there's a bad way to have pride in yourself. That's where we see the difference between, like, an intuitive high priestess energy that's emotionally sound and operating on a very intelligent emotional level versus a very arrogant personality that is, fueled by insecurity, okay, which you often do see in your dreams, okay? So now that the Fool has explored each major personality component in turn, he is finally ready to set off on his voyage. His vehicle is his personality or persona, Latin for mask, the term used in archetypal psychology to denote how one presents oneself to the world. In the Chariot card, this vehicle is a literal vehicle, a chariot. Each of the previous cards serves as a component in the chariot's construction. However, the previous cards are not simply static concepts. They are also energies, and these energies have their own preferred directions and agendas, which often contradict each other. The cards are concepts represented by the Chariot, but the cards as energies are represented by the horses. And we also are in the year of the horse, interestingly enough. Okay? Together, these energies pull the chariot forward, but left unguided, they would pull the chariot apart. Therefore, the charioteer representing that part of you that is most quintessential. You must hold fast to the reins and use the horse's energies to move the chariot forward in the direction he chooses. Okay. And there goes that. All right. So that being said about the chariot, the image is perfect for the chariot because we actually see the personality in the very act of coalescing out of turbulent sea, a common symbol for the subconscious. Okay? In the Tarot of Dreams, chariot, charioteer, and horses all emerge from an ocean wave. And I feel like that is, at the essence, the wave of emotions, the wave of feelings that are I almost feel like maybe drowning you from time to time. But this chariot is like you are arising out of the sea foam, and you are the sea foam, but you're rising out of the sea here, and it's frequently used as a poetic image. And in fact, white horses is a meteorological term for white-capped waves. Okay? The charioteer stance effectively shows his attitude of strength, pride, adventurousness, and perhaps a bit of arrogance as he sets forth on his journey. It must be remembered that the charioteer has only just recently assembled his personality and decided on a direction for his journey, and he is certainly not a seasoned or mature traveler. He might be likened to an adolescent, confident in his newfound stature, but lacking in the experience that leads to wisdom. Perhaps the best definition of a mature person is one who knows that he does not know. The charioteer has not yet attained this self-knowledge of his own ignorance. Yeah, so you are going to succeed. You have this powerful, optimistic energy that is always available to you. And the structure in the background symbolizes the fool's first attempts at constructing his own mental framework. Okay? So you are starting to form something here. Okay? A mental map, basically, that's going to enable you to navigate your way through life. Blue jewel shines atop the structure like a sun. This is a clue that the scene we are witnessing is not meant to illustrate concrete reality, but is rather like all the cards, a dreamscape illustrating the inner workings of our own psyches. The Hebrew letter here, sheth, means fence. Like the chariot, a fence is a structure designed to contain and give shape and protection to what is inside. Okay? And like you're seeing all of this, or you're feeling all of this. And the Cancer is the sign of domestic security. This might seem a poor fit with the marital image of a chariot, but not one who considers the patriotism and protection of the home are often motivating factors behind the desire to venture out into the world. Okay, so here you are trying to explore your subconscious and your shadow energy and do your shadow work, Aquarius, and you are experiencing this in a whole new way because you've never done this before, or you have done this before but in a different style or a different method, and that wasn't working, obviously, because you were left feeling humiliated and you were left feeling like you look like you're letting someone else do the thinking for you. But you're not, though. You are thinking for yourself. You are acting as yourself. And it's like a whole newfound power and energy. And yes, I guess to some people, like haters and, narcissists, you stepping into your own power is going to be regarded to them as foolish or as arrogant or prideful. But you're not showing a lack of maturity. You're showing, basically that you are tired of being humiliated. You are tired of being overlooked or overshadowed. See what I did there? Okay. And this is what your mind and your ego expects for the future, is this charging ahead, okay? Navigating and surfing those waves, not letting the wave overpower you and take control over you, like your feelings and your emotions, but actually like steering the chariot through it. And I love how it's like domestic and stuff, because with the lovers and the energy there of like, your traditional sort of like husband wife, living together situation, right? That can come into play, right? Is if you are feeling overshadowed or overlooked by your person, or overshadowed or overlooked by, certain people that had all this control or had all this power over you. Okay, that no longer is the case anymore. Now it's a matter of you are in the driver's seat. And, I feel like everyone is like aware of that. There's this new awareness around that. And of course, once that has been made apparent to these controlling narcissists, of course they're going to not want to celebrate you separating yourself from their, belief system of what and how you should live your life. Okay, Aquarius? So that is my beautiful message for you. Okay. Happy birthday again. And, So sweet. These are some messages for you. I am worthy of the love I seek. I am worthy of the love I seek. Okay, Aquarius? And your love brings warmth I never knew I needed. Okay? So, yeah, the sun will shine again. This is not your forever. And your pain has purpose. You are worth fighting for. Okay, so you obviously have a soulmate, a person that really loves and cares about you very deeply. It could be yourself, you know, it could be you giving yourself some love and showing yourself some care. So I'll leave you with that. Check out your soulmate reading, Aquarius, if you're interested in more about that romantic timeline and connection that might be on your mind, may or not be on your mind. Alrighty, take care now. Thanks for watching. Bye.